So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
Welcome to the Big and Small podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Gabrielsen and I'm the tiny one.
Now, we talk a lot about integration and connection. People forget that there's one thing that you can't change if you're going to be on this plane of existence, which is your body. You can change your haircut, you can get a new job, you can move to a new city, but how many of us can change our bodies? Why is it that we think that it should serve us, it should be there for us, it should be our best friend, our connection with the world, and we don't have to take care of it, we don't have to think about it, we don't have to love it? It's so strange in the age of technology that we're so connected but so disconnected from ourselves. Why is it that you can find any piece of information on the planet almost within an instant on your phone? But if I was going to ask you to contact the low part of your abdomen, if I was going to ask you to take contact with your lower ribs, if I was going to ask you to be able to move your shoulder blades in a circle, could you? Think about it. Today, I have a gift for you. I have a very, very special guest, a good friend, one of the people that is making a change. He is the spark of change in society, an awakening. Not only is he a person that I respect, but what he's doing is revolutionary. He's changing Oslo, he's changing Norway, he's making ripples and waves. He is the founder of Gnistremovement, and I want to have him introduce himself a little bit here. Sindre?
What a pleasure. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. And thank you so much for those touching words. My name is Sindre. I'm the daily manager in Gnistremovement. I established this business in January 2021. And I'm a movement practitioner, first and foremost. I also teach. And I love movement. And I'm obsessed with movement.
That's beautiful.
You can move in some ridiculous ways.
Yeah.
For us, that's very stiff.
Yeah.
It's very ridiculous. Because I'm like, how is that possible? How is that even possible? Because you're the way you can, like, how do you move? Because people may have not watched you, so how do you move?
Which you should, by the way, because it's so beautiful.
I should follow
It's
you on
zen,
Instagram. I will put you in the description of the podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So a friend of mine and teacher in Stockholm, Marcel Henriksen, he said to me not long ago, if you can break it down, you can build it up. So if you see something ridiculous, if the way I move, for example, some of the movements, you could actually break them down. So when I present something, there is also a way of getting there from scratch. I've not always been able to do the stuff that I do, but I started out breaking it down through help from Ido Portal, his online coaching, and from seminars in Portugal and London. Yeah, so it can break everything down like learning a language, A, B, C, and then you can form sentences, and then you can improvise.
Beautiful. That's really one of the keys to life, that all complexity is nothing but understanding of the basic elements and bringing that to life, right?
Yes.
That's so beautiful. So what was it that, you started moving, you understood that you wanted to contact your body, it was like your path, and then suddenly you're a leader in the movement culture in Norway. And what was it that gave you that impulse that, not only do I want to do this, but I want to share, I want to go out there and make that wave?
Yeah, there definitely was a moment where I did this for myself in the beginning, mostly I just wanted to function normally and get rid of some injuries and pains in my body, and do the stuff that I love to do, like cross-country skiing and hiking, carrying backpacks, heavy backpacks, dance. And so I just started by myself and exploring, and it worked for me. It's like finally found something that works for me. Because I was all broken down, to be honest. And then I decided to go out and meet Ido Portal, because my only introduction was through YouTube.
Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to meet this hero of mine. So I traveled to London for something called Movement X. It's an introduction to movement with Ido Portal and Odelia Goldschmidt. And when I came there, I met Ido Portal, and they say you should never meet your heroes. And he met me exactly where I was.
Right.
And that was so human of him to do.
It's a powerful experience.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah. And then it created a connection. Not only was he the hero, but he was also a fellow human.
Yes.
Yeah. And I saw that, wow, it's just a human.
Yeah.
I can also do this.
Right.
Yeah. Throughout the course in London, he said something that really got to me. And I don't remember the context or the sentence, but he said, it's time to take responsibility. And that really moved something in me. So that I wanted to take the responsibility to bring this to Norway. Right. And bring this out to people so that they can have the same benefits.
Exactly.
And so that we can create a culture and move together. Because it's stronger, it's
Yes.
more potent.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not lonely.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the story.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, there is something about meeting your heroes, right? Sometimes that takes the energy out of it. But if you're an evolved, awake person, it actually brings energy to it. Because then it really connects you with not only who they are and seeing things from the inside of their lives, but it also reminds you that it's possible for you too. Right?
Yeah.
That was so cool. So it was a call to responsibility.
Absolutely.
Nice. Very nice. So how do you see the quality of movement when you walk on the street in Oslo? What do you see in people?
I see people following the same patterns over and over again.
Mhm.
And they're rigid, stiff in their bodies.
Mhm.
I I I think it's very important to point out that there is nothing wrong with any movements. But when you repeat it over and over again, when you sit in the same position every day for hours and hours, our body adapts to that. And it's just too much sitting. And then we get tight hip joints and lower back pain, etc.
Mhm.
So you can see that when people are walking in the streets, you can see the effects of them sitting too much, for example.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with sitting.
No.
But we are sitting a lot,
Yeah,
Yeah.
too much.
and especially with the home offices.
Yeah. Right.
You're sitting, like before, at least you were sitting for breakfast, then you walk to the tube or underground or the ferry in your case, and then you walk there and you took the stairs up to your office, and you had to walk from your office desk to the lunch break or break room to get a cup of coffee, and then you had to walk back, then you had to walk home again. But now you're sitting in your kitchen, you have coffee in the kitchen, you have dinner in the kitchen, like you don't have to move at all.
No.
Like you literally can have a productive day
Yeah.
working and walk 3,000 steps
Or less.
or less.
Yeah.
And that is scary for me, because I thought I walked a lot.
Yeah.
Now we got a ring. It's called an aura ring.
Oh.
I need to work more. So now me and Jason actually have a walking day.
Yeah. We have a walking day.
Because we think, we actually move too little. Because we stand a lot, but we
Yeah.
don't walk a lot.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are surprised by how little they walk and how little they move. And when they move, they don't move. Like we say, if you look at a toddler, they lift perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at us, and we are not lifting perfectly. And go to the gym, the way we also lift is not a good way of lifting. So it's important that we have to go back to that and connect to our body, because as we say, an integrated human also has a body that's able to respond. And if you can't respond, you're not actually functional.
No. If I can, I would like to take something from what you just said. It's so beautiful. So, as children, you say we move perfectly. We do perfect squats. We roll around on the floor. We fall down. We don't get hurt. So, somewhere along the line, growing up, we don't use our body enough and with enough complexity. So if you don't use it, you will lose it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's true.
And so if you lost something, if you lost touch with your body, if you lost touch with your reflexes, if you lost touch with your senses, there is no easy way going back. Still, I think people are willing to go back, to get it back. Of course, not all of it, but maybe some of it. And maybe a lot of it. So if we've come so far out that our body is not functionable anymore and we don't have the full experience of life, then maybe you need something very, very intelligent to get you back or back on track.
Right.
Yeah. And that's movement culture.
Yeah.
That's Gnistremovement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because it's no easy task.
No.
No.
But getting started with you is easy.
Oh yeah.
And right, and you
And it's scary.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
all change is scary.
Yeah,
'Cause
right?
actually, what you need to do first there is you have to acknowledge I don't have contact with my body.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you actually ask people, they will say yes, of course. It's there. And how can you not? But I've seen that when I've trained people, and I say, okay, you're gonna do a row, and they row, but they don't row. Like they don't actually use their muscles. Like, yeah, I know it. And I pull and I use momentum and everything. Like, yeah, but no, you're not actually pulling with your muscles. And I asked them to specifically find the muscle, and all of a sudden it's much heavier. And I go, oh. And then it's not that much fun because you have to go down 10 kilos in weight to actually be able to lift it. But I think a lot of people think they are in contact because they do some jogging or they do some walking. But first you need to acknowledge that, I have no contact with my body anymore, and that's scary.
Oh yes. That's really scary. I've been through it. Yeah.
You start discovering where you're not good, and that's not easy for many people. The thing I see often are the repetitive use injuries in people. Almost 90% of all the things that I correct in my clinic are because of people standing, for example, in the same way, doing something 1,000 times and not varying at all. Or they just have a way of living that creates the body they have, right? It's not the falling or lifting too heavy or anything. Those injuries also come, but now it's more repetitive use injuries. And so you have children who, if you ask them to do one task 10 times, they'll do it 10 different ways.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you ask a 60-year-old to do 10 things, he'll do it the same way. So those are 10 different tasks. They have the same movement pattern that they use everywhere. Isn't that, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I don't understand, Jason. My shoulder just blew up on me. And I'm like, okay, what happened? No, I was changing a light bulb. And I'm like, oh, really? So when was the last time you had your hand physically over your head? Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Right? That's interesting. You're 60 years old and you can't remember the last time you did hi, right?
Yeah.
Because everything is just so patterned, like you're saying. So breaking free of that, especially in this post-COVID era that's coming up, because people have been locked at home. Like Martin was saying, there's these home offices and everything. Gnistremovement is one of those perfect channels in order to take contact with your body again. So, people have to not just plug themselves back into their social lives, but in their physical lives, because how many people have been locked inside on the couch? And even if it's not a true physical barrier where the government in our country, at least, is locking us inside, which has happened in other countries, but it's a whole psychological thing. People are less in contact, they're less in movement. Training centers have been closed down. Jiu-jitsu has been canceled. I mean, there's so many things that we were relying on, and to find new pathways, it's just difficult. Yeah. So Gnistremovement would be a great thing for that, in order to get back into their lives, right? Find out where they are. Yeah. So what would you recommend for people who have been sitting in their home office? Is there like a basic start, just a thing that they can think about before they're able to get their lives back on track with you?
Yes. Some simple things. So you mentioned the guy who changed the light bulb. Yeah. And he get injured.
Yeah.
So this type of injury, it's not the movement by lifting your arm up and twist your hand that is injuring you. So it's you may think that you shouldn't do that then.
Right.
So this is not the case of overuse. It's the case of underuse.
Right.
Something I heard from Ido. So perhaps you shouldn't lift your arm up and twist the light bulb. In that case, perhaps you should start with something lighter. But you should definitely start by doing a type of movement, a type of pattern that you don't do in your daily life. Because it's the repetitive ones that fuck us up.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No,
for the
that's
word.
No,
but
we
that's
are
the
allowed
right
to
word.
use big
Yes.
words in this podcast.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, we have. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, some of the
We're
things,
adults. We're fine.
and
Yes.
some of the things that you go through need
Yeah.
big words.
Yes. And
You
not
can't.
only
You
that,
can't pattern it in. It is. It is what it is.
exactly. And the right word is fucked up.
Fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
When you can't do this, like stretch your arm
right.
and twist.
Yeah. That's fucked
That's
up.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
No, it's not
So
okay.
big words are allowed
Oh,
in
thank
the
you.
appropriate amount.
Yes. I'm not go over the top.
No, we would tell you if we have to beep you out.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. So far, I've been swearing most in this podcast series, so you're good.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Marit.
My pleasure.
So yeah, I think it's important to keep this in mind. That okay, let's do some weird stuff, because we're not doing weird stuff, and the reason why it's actually weird because the reason we don't do it.
Yeah.
But it's so beneficial to do more weird stuff.
Yeah.
But don't do too much in the beginning.
Right.
But that's why I would guess it would be smart to start with someone.
Yeah.
In my experience, what I've seen and what I've done myself is that when I start something, I go way too much, way too fast, way too soon, because it's fun. And like you can see that you just go to the gym and you start lifting heavy weight and start throwing stuff around, and then your body goes like, you should not have done that. So it's much better to start with someone that can actually guide you, and it makes it social and fun. And also, if you think about it, it takes if I'm your student, it takes the pressure off me.
Yeah.
Because I can just be, and in today's society, you have to be so many things.
Yeah.
Like roles, like you have to be a mom, a teacher, a wife, a dog mom, a friend. But right there, you can just be and listen and do.
Yeah.
So
someone who guides
someone who guides you and that actually can help you and correct you. And it looks like, because you have had Zoom workouts on Fridays.
Yeah.
We're working then, but I've seen that you have had commercials for them that it looks very fun.
Yeah.
We need to have more fun in our movement and not just train to lift heavy and stuff, but actually have fun with movement.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest part of it. Having fun,
Yeah.
exploring, and learning new stuff about yourself. And how can you learn new stuff about yourself if you do the same thing over and over again? How can you change?
Exactly.
So if you're in a bad spot, then move away from that spot.
Yeah. Exactly.
And yeah, some of the bigger thoughts around it. So if you want to learn, for example, how to get softer in your body, then definitely check out our Instagram and our link tree on Instagram, where you can go to the website and on YouTube.
That's Gnistremovement.no.
.no. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll just direct you into those platforms, and I will not say any specific things to do.
Yeah.
Not any specific movement. There will be too much detail in this. I would like to show it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
then you have online classes, right, that I can sign up for.
Online
and-
classes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. We have something called mirror neurons. And mirror neurons is what you experience if you're a jiu-jitsu fighter, for example, and you touch the gi, or you grab the hand of a person who's extremely good in that sport. The pattern of tension in their body, their movement, the looseness, the tightness, where where they're alive in their body is transferred to our mirror neurons. And if we see somebody who's doing it at a high level, the chances that our body will automatically take that in and be able to do it is there. So you showing it like that is such a powerful way of communication. I think they were saying that 80+% of our communication is actually nonverbal. It's through mirror neurons and observation and feeling, you know. So I think what a beautiful way of teaching. You know, it's interesting. If you had a kids class, for example, and you know, you showed them something, and you know that 90% of what you said just flew out the window because they just not paying attention. But you do it 3 times, and they're doing it, and you're like, "How did you
so
do
impressive.
it?"
It's so impressive. Like
Jeez.
kids.
Yeah.
Kids and like our kids class in jiu-jitsu that Rutger's having, and we are kind of he's having a kids class now. He's doing so well with them.
It's wonderful.
It's so wonderful, but it's so unfair in the way that you show them a hip escape, and we know what a hip escape is, but it's you laying on the ground and actually just pushing your butt backwards. And they took them one and a half times, and they're just like they fly off the mat, and you just know if you ever had an adult class, it would have taken them a month.
Awkward it is.
So it's so impressive. But I think that's some of the things you are bringing back, because you have, when I look at your Instagram, your movement capture people. And it looks like you can see it's not just athleticism, because you can see a lot of people in like Tufteparker doing a lot of athletic stuff, which is very impressive. But you have a body control that you can't find in most people. And you see the people stop and look at you and kind of give you acknowledge about it. And I would like for you, because you shared with us, because you also took part in one of our workshops.
Yes.
You had a wonderful story. And if you wouldn't mind if you could share that one, because it's so powerful and it shows the power of movement.
And non-verbal communication.
Yes.
Right?
80% of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
80+%. They're not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
And
amazing,
you can see,
right?
and in this story, because I love this story, is that it shows that how we actually are connected with it as kids, but as we grow up, it kind of just disappears somehow.
Yeah, we don't use it.
No. So can you please share that one?
That's a beautiful story. Thank
It
you
is.
for bringing it up
I
again.
love that story.
Yeah, it makes me happy when I think about it. So I moved to Oslo, and I quit my job, sold my apartment, sold my car to go all in and lead the movement culture, practice, teach. So I moved to Oslo, and it was not easy. I had a training partner, and suddenly I didn't anymore. So I was practicing all alone in the backyard of where I live. This was late at night, and it was dark outside. And I was a bit sad, but I was still practicing. And suddenly there was a kid there, just right out of the dark. And I was like, what is this kid doing here now? This is weird. He should be asleep. Yeah. And this kid, he wasn't speaking Norwegian. He wasn't speaking. So that made it even more weird for me.
He's like looking at you.
Yeah, it was like taking out from a movie. It was kind of scary. But I just okay. This is just a practice becoming more rich.
Yeah. There you go.
So just worked with it, and this I was doing something called locomotion, where we crawl around on the floor or on the ground, locomote from one place to another. So and he was starting to climb on me, and he was getting kind of irritating.
Yeah.
And then initially I just thought, just go away, please. I'm practicing. I'm training hard here. Can't you see? And this kid, I couldn't communicate it to him. So I couldn't say go away to him because he didn't understand. So yeah, I thought I'd just bring him into the play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we made just a beautiful session where me and him just moved together playing. I was teaching him some things and yeah, it just shifted my mindset over to becoming more playful, not so serious, not so hard. And just a whole reflection came over me. This kid was so amazing. He made my day. And yeah, I just loved him so much.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
And his mother came finally out and looking for him, and then he had to go, and we said goodbye. And that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship where we just met in the backyard, playing around, climbing in the trees, throwing balls, and yeah, we had such a good time. We made such a good connection, and yeah, I love that boy so much.
That's so cool.
And we didn't speak once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, as we talked about, you're a movement yogi. You know, you're an action karma yogi, and the way you are transmitting your unique perspective and your unique channel of connection is through your movement and through those waves that you're creating in that movement culture, leading that. But your story is so beautiful in so many ways. There was a lack in your life for a moment, and feeling that loneliness, you synchronistically pulled in a person who could fill that place in your heart. And it's so cool also that we have this idea that the training is going to be like this today.
Yeah.
And you were able to transition when that training wasn't like that, because you had a new element, this kid. And probably in the end have been able to train and learn more about yourself and about the world and teach and give something to somebody. And you never know how long-lasting, how important what you gave him was, how he now is going to go forth and teach other people how to be in action, how to really move.
And for a kid to meet an adult that is wanting to take them in, because we're so linear.
Yeah.
That you say, I'm going to work out like this, and this is the repetitions, this is how it's going to be, and if anything stops that, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work out today.
Yeah.
Or I forgot my shoes. Or I had wrong pair of socks. Someone is looking at me.
Or it was a bad training because I did 7 of the 8 things I thought I was going to do, right?
Like we're so obsessed with this instead of just, I forgot my shoe today.
Yeah.
We do work out without shoes. Like we're not adaptable at all. And we get so uptight with the idea of how it's going to be instead of, in that case, the best way you couldn't think about how worse you would have felt and how bad a kid would have felt if you would just shout him.
No.
It's like, oh wait, I'm working out here. I'm training. I'm working hard. But you actually included him, which brings so much more to your life and to his.
Yes.
But we don't kind of do that. And I'm like you were playing with that kid, and a lot of people say that, I want to be able to play with my kids.
Oh yeah.
And when I look at people in like playgrounds, they don't actually play with their kid.
No.
The kid is playing, and they are watching the kid play.
Or surfing on their mobile phone.
Or surfing on a mobile phone.
Taking picture of the kids.
Yeah,
while they're
right,
playing.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
But they're not actually participating in the play.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And as an adult, I kind of don't like crawling on the ground and getting my pants dirty. But, then I change pants, and I have pants that can afford to be dirty. And then you play with the kid. And you roll around in the mud, and you if you can fit, because some of these things are very small, you go also into the tubes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna fit
oh,
there.
you're not gonna fit. That's kind of, I don't want to shame you.
I'm big. She's small. Okay.
Yes, but yeah,
Moving right
you
along.
can, if we could actually play with our kids more, and not having this, no, I'm adult, I don't play.
Yeah.
But actually walk on all fours and crawl, and that is what I love with the sport we are doing, like jiu-jitsu, is that you can, when we have the kids class, you can play with them.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's not linear movement. You are playing, and they can jump on you, and you can kind of just gently roll them off. And same with what you are doing, you are actually making them play, and you're playing with them, because I guess they can find many of the movements pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, if you're adults there, you want to play with your kids, number one, stop parking them in front of their iPad or the TV. That's not playing with them. Number two, this is the most important thing. Kids do what you do. They don't listen to you. So if you want them to be active and healthy and move when they're adults, please be active, healthy, and move as an adult with your kid. Okay? If you're going to take them to sports and watch them, when they're adults, they're going to watch their kids. So why not move? I had this beautiful, beautiful story of a lady. She is in her 50s. She came to me and she's just so athletic. It was unbelievable. I mean, what a lioness of a woman. And I asked her, I'm like, what is your secret? Like, what's up? Like, this is crazy. And she said, Jason, I have 2 kids, 2 daughters, and they both do handball. And I said, that's amazing. She said, yeah, when they train, I train. And I'm like, whoa. So you actually train twice when they train once. And she said, that's right. And I'm in better shape than both of them. Right? So, but you teaching people to integrate their adult bodies into the play with their kids. Also, that's a great channel for people if they're going to take contact with you to learn how to move with their kids, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
Powerful.
And that you're allowing movement to be a part of what they see in the city. That's why I love, like, you're doing handstands and stuff on the ferry. You're doing it in the parks. You're not doing it inside in a closed room all the time where no one can see it. You are actually making it a part of something that you normally see. So it's not that scary, perhaps, when you used to see people doing those kind of movements, and not just walking and being strict and having their suitcase and doing the linear, very walking, doing thing.
Yeah. That's interesting. You know, we often talk about legacies. You know, you want to leave a legacy behind you. You want to have done more positive for the world than created trash often. You know, it's like we want to make sure that we are a legacy, but not just leave the legacy. So why not leave a movement legacy for your kids? Why not allow them to be healthy and movable and in contact with their body when they're adults, because you were, right?
Yeah.
What a
shape their lives.
Shape their lives by shaping your life.
Yeah.
Get in shape your life.
So that should be a pretty good motivation for people.
Yeah.
To
But you know, all of this is scary. Like, you know that me and Jason are very into the integrated human.
Yeah.
That's why we created a company to begin with. But you know, we're so afraid to look at the things we're not good at, and like we say, it's the spirit, it's the mind, it's the heart, and the body. When unfortunately you have dark spots in all of these areas, and it's scary to look at.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's so scary, and many are not ready for it and will deny everything you tell them.
Yeah.
So in my experience, when people are ready, they will search it out. But then it's so beautiful that you have this platform where they can kind of find you.
Yeah, I'm out there. And people like me are out there. So many are are ready and are on board already.
It is the time for it.
Yeah, it's a time for it. And at the post-COVID time is going to be even more crazy. We need people like yourself and like the integrated human to be there and be ready to take the change and the transition for people, because it's been a disruption. And now we have that opportunity to reset our values, reset our routines, reset the way we look at our lives and ourselves, appreciate actually the things that we've lost, which for very many people has been contact with their body, contact with their friends.
Contact with themselves.
Seriously, who's getting enough hugs lately?
It's
Right?
not many people.
Yeah, seriously. It's really weird. There's a lot of things that have changed, and we're going to have to, get things started again. And this is such a beautiful reset opportunity.
Yeah.
And people need to start investing in something that's invaluable, that they can't change out, that they can't swap out, which is their body. It's
You're
like,
stuck with it to the day you die.
exactly.
And it kind of you
That's
can
it.
put as much plastic in it as you want, but your health still your health.
Yeah.
Because the thing, but if you get wrinkles, you can take Botox, and if you want fillers, you can get fillers. I don't know. It's so many things you can put into it, but your health still your health,
Yeah. That's
and
it.
that you can't buy.
When
Like
it's
health,
lost,
health
can't
and
buy it.
time.
Yep, that's it. Health and time. Those things you can't get back.
So important thing to speak about is that movement practice. If you practice movement, it's a life practice. Yeah. So it's there always. Yeah. It's not something you start and then you finish a year later or 5 years later.
Yeah.
It's there. You practice till we leave this earth.
It's a never-ending process
Mm.
in a good way.
Oh yeah.
In a very
In a
good way.
beautiful way.
Just physiologically, this is something that's very important for most people, and that it's a relatively little known fact. Did you know, and I'm sure you know this, Sindre, but did you know, my beautiful listeners, that if you don't move a joint through its whole range of motion for 3 weeks, you get lifelong adhesions and changes in the joint, degeneration, wear and tear. Okay, so very often the wear and tear doesn't come from using, but from not using, like Ido was saying and like you were saying. So there are also things called fascial planes, and the muscles have these connective tissue sacs around them. They compress. They're like, have you seen these, compression garments that help you perform, right? And they do that through compression. The problem is that these fascial planes need to glide and move. If you don't move and glide these planes every single day, you basically get this like glue-like substance that starts to form in between them, because your body's actually adapting to what you're doing. Like you were saying, it's adapting. It's trying to make you more efficient
At what you're doing.
right?
Smart
So
that way.
your body's amazing. People complain, oh, I built all this muscle and it disappears. Yeah, because it costs your body a lot of energy to maintain the muscle. And if you're not using it, Bubba, it's going to take it away, because it doesn't want to, throw energy into a system that's not being used. Just like any good business would think that way, right? It's not going to keep your big juicy pecs, alive and well just because you may be on the beach at one point, right? Yeah. If you're not using it, you'll lose it. So the fascial planes are so important to keep mobile and to keep fluid. And you see that in your body when you're moving, that you're very fluid and that all of the small joints are alive. But that's what you're not getting, guys. And that's why a 60-year-old will use one movement pattern to do 20 things. Instead of a kid doing one thing 20 different ways, if you ask them to do 20, because they're completely fluid in their bodies, right? Yeah. So
Organic.
they're very organic, right? Very alive. Whatever happening is happening then, and next moment it'll be something else, right? So the whole point is that people think, but I'm just not a person that works out. Do you move? But I'm not a person who really, I'm not really body fixated. Do you like not having lots of pain? Do you like being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it? Yeah, but I'm a kind of person, I'm really into reading and stuff. Oh, good. Wonderful. Read, but also have a movement practice. Also have a integrate yourself and be ready to respond practice. And something like Gnistremovement is the thing. So you don't have to be in a gym and lift heavy weights. You can do most of this stuff in your living room. You can do it with your friends in your backyard, right? You do a lot of work, like you're saying, in your backyard, right?
Yeah. I practice 5 hours every day in my living room if I have to.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't have to practice 5 hours if you're just going to
No.
start, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah,
You shouldn't.
Yeah, right. But it's,
The whole not too much, not too fast, not too soon.
Yeah, but
But you are a mover, and you have of course worked yourself
That's what
up
I
to
do.
it.
So
Yes.
yeah,
So it's this is your job.
yeah.
But that's the thing. I think many people that think that you have to train. No, that's not what we're talking about here. Is that come in contact with your body,
yeah,
and someone needs to be strong for what they're doing, and some people doesn't. But contact everyone needs.
aliveness.
Yeah, and an important part is that you use your body to express yourself to the world.
Yes.
So if you want people and the world to know who you really are, then you have to express it through the body.
That's it.
So who doesn't want to get other people to know them?
Right.
Mm.
Exactly. That's it. And when over 80% of communication's nonverbal, which means your body.
Yeah. Hint, hint.
Yeah. Hint,
Like
It's
big
yeah.
red lights.
Yes.
That one was
Yes.
important.
Yeah.
guys.
It's important. That's it.
Yeah. So it's without a doubt something that works and something that we all should do. So how do we get more people into it?
Well, you broadcasting your pirate signal through your movement, and you're doing a beautiful job on Instagram, and you're making yourself available for people. I think that's a great start.
And these things are the things that's coming now. It is very natural to come.
Yeah.
We are looking more at themselves. People have spent more time inside having to deal with their stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It is kind of the time for working on yourself. If it's the mind, if it's the heart, if it's the body, but that is time for it now. Because
I think also to be able to do this process by moving more, by playing more, being more open, come in contact with other good people, integrated human is that's a very good way to go. And when I saw that you guys were starting up with the podcast, with the webinars, there was not a doubt in my mind. I just wanted in because I know what you guys do. I know that you guys are first and foremost good people. And I recommend it. Integrated Human. Listen to the podcasts.
Oh, you're on it, so you kind of have to.
You have videos on YouTube. Watch them and join the newsletter and get all the information about upcoming webinars and workshops. I have learned so much about myself, about other people, and I've gotten so potent and powerful tools from you guys.
Thank you.
And I can use them straight away, the same evening. Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah,
That's cool.
But that's what I find very, very cool is that the way we work and the way you work is kind of similar. But it is on different topics, if you may call it that.
Yeah.
But it's very connected in one way. Because the way you move, you have to be working on integration to move the way you move.
Yeah.
Because it's not just movement.
It's total connection, and people can feel that when they see you move. That's there's a wave happening, guys, and most of you are aware of it on some plane inside yourself, outside yourself. Maybe it's a thought, but there's an integration movement happening. People are no longer satisfied just working out. They're no longer satisfied just reading books. They're no longer satisfied sitting with their meditation practice. They're no longer satisfied listening to Jordan Peterson's psychoanalysts, those things are inspiring. It's not enough. We see these movements where, for example, we have racism, we have anti-racism, right? And these are polar opposites, and they're fighting against each other, and there's so much energy there. But imagine a place where that was integrated, where you are seen and appreciated and loved for your uniqueness, your beauty, your absolute perfection as an individual, and at the same time, that sets you free, not locks you into a box. That opens doors for you, and people appreciate you and honor you for who you are, but you can participate in any arena. Now, when you take anti-racism, racism, and put those together, that's what happens. That is integration, my friends. There's so many aspects. When you start bringing your mind, your heart, and your body together, then you get Gnistremovement. You get living, you get playing, you get contact, you have awareness, you have balance in your body, you have health. Anybody want to check out of those? You don't want any of those, or do you want all of them?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's it. That's it. So I so much want to have you back again. I want to thank you so much for taking your time. I know that you coming from Oslo and showing up for us here, it means a lot to me. I love seeing you. So just know that we are with you, and we appreciate what you're doing. We see what you're doing. Check him out, guys. If you're smart, you're going to check him out. That's all I'm saying.
Gnistremovement.no.
That's it.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I love you guys.
Love you too.
And I would love to be back.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Looking forward to it already.
Sweet. So just remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared. And then your energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.